Only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weekends. Where the haters at? Y'all bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got HEX, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart.
This is Whales Only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what HEX has done. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all's deep. Everybody. My God. HEX agents, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. What's going on, family? Happy Sunday to all. And to all, a happy weekend. I've been very, very contemplative lately. And this is the end result of that. I'm not going to get right into it, but first off, shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you guys like you can't imagine, simply because I know what it's like to not know and not want to know, right? And the sad fact is that everybody wants to know. Nobody wants to not know. And I'm speaking in general terms here. Everybody wants to know what's going on. Nobody wants to be on the side where they don't know what's going on, right? I don't care who you are, where you're from. That's a fact, right? Only people that don't act in that way, and shout out to you, Hexographer, for being the first in the chat. Think about the people that don't want to know the truth, that don't want to engage reality. What is their main crux? Is that they think or pretend that they think that they know what's going on, right? Because these people get defensive ASAP. They don't wait. They get defensive as soon as you start dropping truth lines, or hell, even characters, right? As soon as they see your face, because they know the face you make when you're about to go in, they got a problem and they stop it. And this is common. I mean, I've been seeing it for 20 years. Hell, more. This is 2022. I've been woke really since before 9/11. It's just connecting dots little by little, right? And it's crazy. After all this time of being right 100% about everything, 100%. If you thought some shit was fucked up and you called it out and everybody else told you were crazy, you was not. You were seeing clearly. And they are the ones that are crazy, because they're the ones that are choosing to be subservient, to be blind, to not cause problems. I don't want the smoke, whales. Please leave me alone. Don't give me any truth and information. I'd rather stay an ignorant bitch. Now, look, there's a lot of people out there like that. And this is what I've come up with as a solution in regards to specifically Hexicans, right? That don't even know what the fuck is going on with the T-share rate. Like, I see these questions and these comments from people that have been in the community for a long time, some even before me, and they don't have a fucking clue what's going on. You know, if you know these people and you like them, do them the fucking favor and send them a fucking stream so that they can actually learn something. Because those are going to be the people that are not going to be around in 5 years. I don't care what they're saying today. Through this bear market, you've already seen the culling of the plebs. We've seen it. And you've seen people change their colors too, right? Right? You got plenty of people playing roles out here, taking sides, right? And I'm just speaking now within the community, because the thing about it is that you have to understand human psychology to get any of this shit that's going on, right? I mean, even down to your local level, all the way up to the macro level. If you are not on the side that grasps a little bit of human psychology and why humans do what they do, man, I'm gonna tell you what, you're not gonna see a lot of things coming. You're not gonna think a lot of things are plausible. You know, why would anybody do anything negative to another human? Right? You got me talking on that one. Yeah, you nailed it, right? And that's what we see, right? People showing their true colors, because at the beginning you couldn't be funny style. There was too many people like me around. Now, after Pulse Chain launch, it's all washed down, right? You got all the plebs rushing in. They're not learning anything. Hell, they can't even, most of these people don't even know the difference between Pulse and Pulse X. I mean, these people don't even know how to do anything. It's crazy. And how does that change? That changes with people getting washed out over time or people getting educated, right? Now, tonight's stream is specifically about CBDCs, specifically. Now, if you've been in crypto for a while, you know this executive order has been in action basically for 6 months. They were talking about it before it even got executed. But as we all know, executive orders don't mean dick. But that doesn't mean that things don't get put in place in the interim. And this is why it's important to talk about these things. Now, back to the educational part, right? Because we need to understand human psychology, right? All you guys come here stream after stream. You know, I commend you guys. I got over 100 plus streams. I got over 130 streams. And a lot of you come every single stream. And a lot of you, if you don't show up live, you watch them shits on replay. So I salute you guys, because that's exactly the kind of work and dedication that it takes. There is no 11-minute video that's going to get you on point, period. There just isn't. I don't care who makes it. It doesn't exist. And for those of you that like watching legacy stuff, you're watching people that are looking in the rear view, just so you know. So they're not really adding value to your toolbox unless you're trying to get some historical perspective that they're able to give you. But that's rare. This is why I do my own shit, because there's nothing for me to watch. I do what I wish existed. So if you're out there watching these legacy fools that don't know what the next trade is, you should understand that you're wasting your time, and maybe you should be streaming and educating them, because you're already where they wish they were at. Chew on that one for a little bit. I mean, you guys got to realize this. At some point, you have to realize that you're the tip of the spear. Hexicans are leading the financial world at this point in time. Period. There is no opinion there. That's a fact. That's a fact. Even in a 95% dip, that's right. Look at everything else around you. I told you how it was going to go down. The only thing I didn't see was the 95% dip because I didn't look at the on-chain data for staking like I should have been. Right? And I've talked about this umpteen times, but it will forever haunt me because I just can't believe people aren't staking. It's like asinine to me. But hey, to each their own. And that's fine. If you don't want to earn money while you sleep, that's your problem. No issues here. So again, right? If you got people out here in the Hex community, and I mean Hex, not Pulse Chain, not Pulse X, not even Maxi, not even Hedron. I'm talking specifically people that own Hex and think that they know it or pretend to know it, and you can tell that they don't. You need to let those people watch, like give them streams that you know will augment their weak angle. Please. Because if you don't, all that's going to be is a future person that just was here. And at the end of the day, the only way that we win this war of information is by sharing the correct information. This is why my streams are so pivotal. And this is why I laugh at people that call me a conspiracy theorist. I mean, imagine in 2022, 8 months in, a person still using that term. I mean, talk about having your head up your rear in fucking fifth gear, right? Like this person is a Oris Boris, right? And if you don't know what that is, I'll show you later. But it's basically a snake that eats himself and comes alive again. So it's a circle, right? These people that walk around talking about staking ain't it clearly don't have any grasp or understanding of what markets are, right? I mean, if you're a Hexican and you don't know technical analysis and all this BS that seems fancy and all that shit, you guys got to understand that shit doesn't matter. There's plenty of guys that are TA experts and don't make money. Did you know that? Yes, they exist. Can call out a chart, but can't trade worth a fuck because they can't get their head right. Or can't just sit there. They got to just click away. Whatever it is. Right? Like all these things are real. And they're all a function of human psychology. A person calling you a conspiracy theorist, even though all you do is present evidence, not your opinion. Right? I mean, people still sit here and think I'm sharing my opinion 95% of the time, when in fact, I'm sharing facts 99% of the time. I mean, and when I share my opinion, I let you know. Right. And then they and then they delete the tweets. Yeah, I like TNA too. Yeah, and this is the thing people don't understand about TA, right? It's 100% speculative. You can have the perfect setup, meaning the perfect pattern, technical pattern in front of you, and it could still fail because somebody comes in and decides to go the opposite way with size. Period. That's the end of the discussion with respect to TA. If you don't get that, if you see a setup and it literally means 50-50 nonetheless, even after you have your strategy tested out, you know what your risk reward is, you know what your probability of winning is. Even with that probability of winning in your hand, with a thoroughly tested system, your odds are half of what that number is because of entropy. If you don't know what entropy is, it's basically that shit you can't account for. Okay? That's what that is. So when you cannot account for that error, that the market is going to do that one thing, that one time that you didn't think it was going to do, that's when TA doesn't work. I mean, there's a reason Peter Thiel, Warren Buffett, Michael Marcus, Peter Lynch. I mean, there's so many people I could name. I can name you 20, 30, 40, 50 people. All they do, buy, hold. and sell when they think the risk is high. But this ain't Wall Street. This is different. This is a machine. This is software. So that's lesson number one. You know, I got a chat today from somebody that watched my first YouTube video. I mean, I gotta read this comment to you because it was so. I don't know if it was a joke or what, but it was. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. I mean, I gotta find this comment because it was crazy. Hold on. I mean, okay. So they watched the first video, how do cryptos work, the network effect. And the person writes in the chat, is this all still valid after a year of downward momentum? I mean, whoever the fuck that is needs to rewatch that shit. Number one. Number two, how is anything on this planet, anything in this world, realm, universe, biosphere, whatever you want to call, this isn't even a function of the stupidity in that question. But yes, this is obvious. But I just want you guys to understand how stupid this comment is. Okay, and it just goes to show that person watched something and they didn't process the information. They just asked a stupid question. Hell, maybe they didn't even ask the question based on watching the stream. Maybe it's just some Hex hater. Who knows? I don't know, because that was literally all they wrote, right? And you know, you guys got to understand, the network effect literally only exists because bioorganisms do. Thank you. Okay? This is how the network effect works. Humans engage, they keep engaging in greater numbers, then the square of that, or 2 to the n of that, is what occurs in growth rate each time. That's all the network effect. It just gives you an equation. But the fact of the matter is that that's simply talking about the S-curve and the growth of biospheric entities, right? And you wouldn't think of a market as that. But guess what? Yeah, humans dictate everything that happens in that element. That's essentially a biosphere, regardless of what you want to think of it as, because it only exists because we allow it to. If any market, crypto, stocks, bonds, whatever, was just put out there and nobody touched it, nobody clicked on anything, nobody called in an order, buy, sell, whatever, the market doesn't exist, folks. It's irrelevant. If you and I did not engage with Hex would not exist. If nobody bought stocks or sold them, they would not exist. This is critical to understand. Very base level understanding of everything that we're doing and what we're engaging here. If you as a human, if we as a species do not touch this thing, whatever this thing is, there is not going to be a network effect on it, period. Right? I mean, how do we eat the same foods? Everybody has their own version of a pierogi. Did you guys know this? Literally, everybody. Pot stickers, whatever. Empanadas, right? Everybody has their own version of that food. How the hell do you think that happened? Think that was a flip of a coin? Some motherfucker just tossing it over the water? No. It's called the network effect. Information spreads that way. So, please, if you're that pleb, go rewatch. Thank you. I just needed to emphasize on the network effect for a few minutes. Back to the topic at hand. Psychology is our downfall, right? For a long time, I was depressed. You know, I was actually thinking today, what the hell did I do after I got out of the military? Because I literally didn't even think about it. I hadn't thought about it in probably over a decade at this point. And, you know, I remembered somebody that I had seen from my youth, probably since before high school. And they saw me for the first time in probably, I don't know, 6 years at that point. No, actually, I I was after I got out of the service. So 8, 10 years probably 10 years, 9, 10 years, who knows. I was looking like a bear, right? I mean, I was froed out, beard was crazy. I just got back, I just got out. My hair, I wasn't getting no haircuts, I wasn't doing nothing. I was literally living like a bum. I was completely depressed. And I didn't realize that. It took me a long time to come to that realization. And it really only happened a little while ago relative to the amount of time that I spent in that state. I would not be able to do the things that I do if I was depressed, because I'm an antisocial individual by default. If you're depressed, at least that's how I think of myself, because I was depressed for so long, right? When you're depressed, you don't want human interaction. You're just pissy all the time. You just want to be negative all the time. Everything you see is red, period. No matter what. You could be angry or not. When you're depressed, it doesn't matter. Everything sucks, right? So, how do you get out of that state? It's so difficult. I spent a long time in that state. And it wasn't until I found Alan Watts that I got out of it, right? Because he helped me understand these basic things about the mind and our experience here, and our reality. Because why do things go bad for us? They go bad for us because we don't learn that we are messing up. We're not doing what we're supposed to do. We're not doing what we actually want to do. I only found success, and success in my own right, not monetary success. I call what I'm doing right now success. This to me is success. I'm already successful. I don't need notoriety. I don't need material goods. I don't need money. I don't need none of that shit. All that fancy shit, flying around, all that bullshit. I don't need none of that shit. What I need is for everybody to pull their head out of their ass and read some shit. That's what I actually need. So this is why I'm so satisfied with how my life is currently, because I get to come on these streams and have 200 plus people always come and listen to what I have to say. And I don't know if they're always the same people or not. I know for a lot of you guys, it is. But for a lot of people, they're not even typing in the chat. And those are the people that are just in the background trying to figure out, what the hell am I doing? When I first started using YouTube, I didn't even realize I could use it like Google. It took me until really 2018, 2019 to realize that was the case, because you just don't think about it like that, especially when all you do is use it for music. So, it's these things, man, that when we're not paying attention to ourselves, life will pass us by. I spent a long time in a world of hurt just for fun, because it didn't have to be that way. How did I even end up going to college when I disdain it so much? It's disgusting. I can't stand it. But you know what? I realized today, as I was thinking about that period of depression, because I did nothing for 8+ months. Only thing I did was train to go back in, because I had no intention of staying out here at all. I hate people that are soft and don't fucking try. And that's the majority of people. Straight up. I didn't like them motherfuckers before I went in. When I was in, people didn't have the choice to be a pussy. So it was great. And if they were, you just moved them out the way. It's military, right? Like, you can't be slacking. You can't be slacking. It's life or death. At least in my experience, that's what it was like. I'll tell you guys a little war story. How about that? And it's, safe for work or whatever. I remember one of the first times I was outside the so-called wire, as we called it. I wasn't one of the people that was sitting on a gun turret protecting vehicles and stuff, and that's what those are called, machine gunners, or turret gunners, okay? When they ride in the vehicle. And the Humvee, with popping out, they're just the only thing out there, 50 cal, 249, whatever the case. And there was this one time where something happened, and the guy in that position literally just froze. And I'm telling you, we're in the midst of the shit now, right? How do you just freeze? You can't do that, bro. You got to shoot. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's shooting at you, you got to shoot back. So that motherfucker had to get tossed out the way, and somebody had to jump in. I mean, it happens. People think shit is easy until they get confronted with reality, right? And this is the issue that most of us have. I remember seeing kids, because I was a kid at the time. I was 18 when I was out there, 18, 17. Matter of fact, I was 18. We were all young, 18, 21. I remember my supervisor was 5 years younger than I am right now, 6 years younger than I am right now, if not more. Dude must have been 29, 30. His supervisor might have been my age now, 37. So we're all young people. Nobody had been to war. Iraq was not anything else. This shit was different, right? And these are young men out here trying to survive because they don't know what the hell is going on. Everybody just gets duped over and over and over, right? This is my driving force, and a lot of people don't understand that. I went to war for no reason, people. Wake the fuck up. Plenty of people are still going to war for no reason. Wake the fuck up. So all this pandering to liars, to duplicitous people, all that needs to stop. How else are we going to stop young kids from going across the world to die when you don't even care about your damn self? Now, how could it be that you don't even care about yourself? Well, step one, you're out here engaging furus in a way that you don't need to be engaging them. So you don't even give a fuck about your pocket. For the people that do that, obviously, not for those that don't. Because there's plenty of people out here constantly doing that. Why are you giving a platform to a furu that doesn't deserve it? Period. Your opinion is irrelevant in that matter. That's a fact. If they've ever disrespected Hex, Richard, or the community, they're a furu. Nobody here is trying to set anybody up. On the other hand, everybody else is. So it's not like this is a debate or an opinion. This is a fact. You engage a furu, you yourself are a furu. That's pretty much the baseline. Richard can do whatever he wants. That's his job. This is his baby. It's his job. He's the big name. He's the one that's supposed to be in front of people. Not you. And thank you for the super chat, Jesse James. Appreciate that. 100% understand and agree with you, Wells. And thanks, man. Again, I'm trying to speak truth to power. Right? You guys got to understand. I'm out here showing you evidence, factual information. I'm not just talking ever. Right? Like I never just say something and not back it up. So clearly the information is out there. I give you information consistently. So those who choose to stay ignorant, you see them. Make sure you understand who they are. Because it's not about you. It's about understanding where we are at this point in time. This is exactly why I went out of my way to title this stream as such. The time for games is past, folks. It has passed. We are now at this point in time where decisions have to be made, and they must be the right decisions. Because here's something you're not going to expect. You're not going to expect all these furus to start sucking CBDC dick. But guess what they're going to be doing? Guess what? Just that. Oh, who else is going to be doing that? Let's see. Probably all the periodicals that report on crypto that are mainstream. Yeah, of course. They must pump the narrative. It's all about the narrative, folks. All about the narrative, right? I mean, how do you go from a point in time where you owned your own property, your own money, to where we now borrow money, even as we get paid for our time? It's in borrowed money. Ah, man. You know, you guys heard that little war story. That was nothing. That was just really the first stink I had. That was nothing. Right? So when you hear me talking about what's true and what's not, how I'm providing evidence, how other people are just talking out of their rear, complaining, or just being duplicitous, right? Trying to get you to click on referral links or whatever. How do you engage those people? How do you engage people that engage those people? You're letting them think that that's okay. And how do we corral? Because it's not about controlling people. It's not about controlling people at all. People are going to do whatever they want to do. The question is, do you want to engage that behavior? Because if that behavior is happening, guess what? There's cracks in the wall elsewhere too. Integrity means whole, one. There's a crack anywhere, there's a crack everywhere. Fact, not fiction. Something to think about. Oh, wow. I think you're new, brother. I ain't seen your name before. Shout out to you. I appreciate the sentiment. But again, I'm just sharing, information that's out there for everybody to, come up on. Glad to hear you're shifting your assets to RH products and less on a fiat circus, because that's what this stream is all about. The fiat circus. The fiat circus has come to an end, right? It's been 51 years, literally, since the US has defaulted on its gold notes. That's what happened in 1971. The US has already monetarily defaulted. But nobody understands that, because that's not what was told to them. I mean, that's part of the problem. Now, RH can get up there and say it all he wants. Masses aren't going to understand that shit, just like they're not going to understand T-shirts. Period. You got to put in the work. Your homies got to put in the work. People have to understand that they're being robbed. I mean, think about it. Every day, the masses of society, those of us that use money, currency, fiat currency, which is everybody, we wake up every day, our entire lives, and we see how our money depletes day after day after day. Every day. Doesn't matter if you're 2, doesn't matter if you're 102. That's a fact. If you were born in 1902, you know full and well what I'm talking about, and you're probably not listening, right? Because it's 120, right? 120 years later. And I mean, I've been studying finance for so long that it's crazy to me that it's already 2022. I remember looking at data that was before 2010. Right? Now, I want to get into this executive order business, but again, I really need you guys to understand the message I'm trying to relay here. People's character is everything. You see people engaging furus incorrectly out there, let them know. Don't be shy. This is our community. We dictate and determine what happens here. Not some furu, not even RH. We collectively determine that shit. So if we're gonna have a high speed community, we all gotta maintain that level. Not just the streamers, not just whales, not just crypto coffee, not just GRC, not just the same names you guys always talk about, not the same guys. No, it has to be everybody. Everybody. Everybody got to do it. Shit doesn't happen just because. It happens because you make it so. Ever since I started streaming, I've been trying to help you guys understand you are not number one until you decide to be. And so far, we're not deciding that. That's a fact. Because we're out here engaging full rules as if they matter. And they don't. Let RH engage them. That's his prerogative. In fact, it's his job since this is his creation. It's not your job. Full rules don't give a fuck about you. You're just a fucking metadata, metric to them. You don't matter. Get that in your head. Even if you think leaving a comment in the Twitter is gonna fucking let somebody else read it, you're playing yourself. You're wasting your time. Whoever follows these people after 2022 deserve what their future is. Period. I mean, how many times you gotta get wrecked to learn, yo? Somebody just gave you some straight crap. You get crap. Why do you care? Those people don't care. Why do you care? They don't care about themselves. People only care about themselves when they decide to care. Your little tweet talking about Hex being da-da-da and some furu tweet ain't gonna help them. It's not. Let the big Twitter accounts handle that bullshit because they do it the right way. They talk shit. They make the furus look stupid. You're just trying to educate a furu. Thus, you're looking stupid. You can't educate somebody that's choosing to be a dumbass. Yes, we understand this. I hope we understand this because that's how it works. And people that are dumbasses, more often than not, opt to be that way. So you are not going to change that. I haven't. And I'm the person that, quote unquote, knows so much shit. Yeah, well, so what? Literally means nothing. Because until you take the information and make it yours, what I know or don't is in fact irrelevant. You see, information is independent. The quality of the information, however, is not. And this is why your sources are critical. You follow furu engaging motherfuckers, you're going to get furu type information, period. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's a fact. You see it on Twitter. I don't got to tell you. You see it. Plenty of people in this community, they ain't hot sauce. They water sauce. They watered down hot sauce. They're not coming with the heat. They're coming with the bullshit. Call them out. Don't be shy. If you want this community to be number one, you got to make it so. I can't do it by myself, and neither can RH. Neither can the streamers, right? It takes all of us to make it happen. Now, rule number one, don't talk about what you don't know. I'm tired of seeing that on Twitter. Wow, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy. Constantly seeing that shit on Twitter. Why are you doing that? Yo, people know when you don't know something. Just because they don't say nothing don't mean that you right. Like, there's no point in debating certain things on Twitter. Like, I'm never going to go in there and tell somebody something's not correlated or what a t-shirt rate is or that they're wrong about something. Like, no, I'm just going to shit talk them and make them look stupid. Like that one Twitter account that everybody be engaged in, that fucking clown-ass whale account. I mean, yeah, Twitter is just pitiful. I mean, it's pitiful. It's crazy. The dude out here, I mean, to see people talking down on staking is just funny. I mean, yo, you don't want to stake, man? That's cool. But don't run around lying to people, telling them staking is trash. Because if it was so trash, why does this community have so many retired individuals just in 2 years? Explain. You know, only you can change that. Again, right? So the common thread is you determine the quality of this community. The information that you intake is determined by you. You think engaging people that choose to be stupid is something useful for you? Explain. I'd love to know. What up, Miko? Shout out to you, brother. You got questions? Throw them in the chat, guys. I haven't gotten to the good stuff yet. We're still talking really psychology, right? Because all of this stuff matters. All of this stuff matters. You know, everybody wants to be a baller. Everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants to be this. Everybody wants to be that. But what work is being done to make that a reality? That's the question that we must be asking ourselves day in and day out. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what the hell. Hold on. Sorry about that, folks. Right? Quality. Quality, quality, quality. Imagine being the person that just wasn't staked this whole time. Imagine being in Hex 500, 600 days and just not being staked. I mean, all the DCAing opportunities you passed up just because you chose to not read something. Now, if you understood math a little bit better than you claim to, because you really don't if you're not staked, I don't care what your excuse is. Unless you have zero reason to be staked because it doesn't matter, then you're not even listening to this stream. So clearly I'm talking to average folks. Because here's the thing. If you're 40 or younger, when is your retirement age supposed to be? Let's see. US retirement age. Let's see. Let's see what the fake feds saying your age is supposed to be. 67. What is full retirement age according to the Social Security Administration? Yeah, I'm sure you are. The current full retirement age is 67 years old for people attaining age 62 and 22 in 2022. So there's your metric, folks. So I take back 40, right? Let's go to 42. Oh, I'm lying. 52. 52 plus 15 equals what? Oh, shit. 67. Wow. Well, you know, back in the day, the retirement age was 55. Then it went up to 57. Then it went up to 59 and a half. Then it went up to 62. Then it went up to 65. And now we're at 67. These are the jumps that I remember in my lifetime. If you got kids in there, I don't know, 10, 8, by the time they become at age of adult, I think it's going to be 72, 75, probably 77. Assuming everything stays in its current trend, which more than likely is not going to happen. But we'll talk about that at some future point in time. So back to staking. Now, imagine the people that bought Bitcoin at a cent, whatever, back in the day, sold it at $1, $2, $3, $20. They thought they were geniuses. Never bought back in, found other more important stuff to do, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. You sold, though. I mean, if you had 10,000 Bitcoin and it only cost you, let's say, 5 cents at the time. Hell, fuck it. Let's say $1, right? Let's just make it $10,000. Who cares? Right? Let's say you bought 10,000 Bitcoin at $1. Whatever. Most of us can't do that because that's a lot of money. But let's just throw a stupid example out there just to disrespect the notion of not staking because it's so stupid. It's so stupid. When I see that, it just makes my blood boil because it's like, yo, how dumb are you to not grasp that you, the person writing that, are not buying every bottom, and you're definitely not selling every top. Because why the fuck are you on Twitter? Why the fuck are you on Twitter? There's a bottom and top happening all over the world all the time. Why are you on Twitter tweeting about it? Trade it and shut the fuck up. You're serving no purpose. You're just wasting people's time. Capiche? That's reality. All the traders I know aren't on fucking Twitter tweeting about it. They're fucking trading. You don't see me tweeting about my trades. In the real world, people do. They don't say. So for those that aren't aware, that's actually how it works. In fact, we have a perfect example. Look at RH. What does he do? Well, he says some shit, then he does it. Pretty fucking groundbreaking, I know. But that's actually how the real world works. For those of you that have been living on the internet for the past 20, 15 years, that's not the real world, guys. I hate to break it to you. The real world only cares about the real world. This is why meeting people in person is critical, right? The past 2 years gave us an opportunity to learn the virtual world and how it works. But don't get it twisted. This shit is not real. Outside is real. Bullets get caught outside, not on the internet. People bleed outside, not on the internet. You eat in your house or outside, not on the internet. You sleep in your bed or in somebody else's crib or outside, not on the internet. Are we starting to catch on or are we still confused? Very important to understand that, folks. The internet is strictly for information gathering purposes. Shout out to you, Crypto Cash. Don't think I'm a perfect trader because that's the point. Nobody is. I trade because I like to. I enjoy it. I strategically do it. And I opportunistically do it. I don't do it in crypto because I don't give a fuck to. Because crypto is not really for trading. And I've gone through this before. And I'm about to go through this now. Because what people don't get, the first stream we did on Quant Gang, For those of you that were around, we literally started with this because that's why 5555. I mean, how the fuck are you think it's dumb to fucking stake after just seeing Bitcoin go from 0 to 69,000 in 12 years? Now, let's just multiply this by 60,000, okay? Just because that's near the high. That's $600 million, okay? Just for sitting there and doing nothing. And that's assuming you got no yield. Which, of course, if it was Bitcoin, you got none. But us over here in Hex, we get you. And what you guys got to understand, which I've tried to relate before, but I understand it's a little complex. The amount of Hex that people sell over time only adds fuel to the fire. Because you guys have to remember, where is this thing? It's a one way in, one way out. There are no side streets here. All the economic energy can only go in one direction. The market cannot force it to go anywhere except through the rails on which it trades. And this is very important to understand because this is why people think these dumb things like, oh, Hex can't go to $1. Just like, oh, Hex can't go to 10 cents. Just like, oh, Hex can't go to a cent. Come on, man. When you going to just shut up, learn something, and shut up and learn some more? A lot of people out there just need to do that. And you, as a person that is not in that position, you might want to tap them and be like, hey, man, maybe go watch the stream or maybe read this or, help these people because these people are going to get left behind. That's a guarantee. The egos are crazy. The self-disrespect is even crazier because that's what ego is. It's a function of pride. This is why I think it's weird when I see Hexicans looking at other people's information when they already have it all. It's cool to get different perspectives. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what you need is here, but you have to understand what you're watching. That's basically my point, right? There's nothing wrong. I watch plenty of stuff just for the fuck of it, not because it's useful to watch, but just to understand where others are. That's what it's useful for. Not as a sounding board or as it's really just a data point, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. Right? And yeah, I know, I know you can't save everyone, of course. And that's why it's just about those that can be saved. Right? Just about those that can. And I'm talking about people within the community. If they're here, maybe they're salvageable. Maybe. That's a big maybe. You know what I mean? Because this happened because people didn't stake, man. I mean, this whole time I'm watching this run up and I'm like, yo, this shit don't even make no sense. And I'm on record talking like that because it's not normal for a market to do a 256x. It's not. And that was my experience with Hex after I got in. Saw the dip. I got in, where was it? Yep. I got in basically here, 0.5 cent. Saw that run up. Clearly nothing, like I was clear on the fact that this wasn't going to continue because from 0.5 cent to that, that's 100%. That's a pretty big move or more. But then, big payday. I figured it out like during all this shit or during all that. But, then my experience was from there all the way up here. I had never seen anything like that in my life. So if everybody was actually doing what they were supposed to do, this would have actually never stopped. Why? Why would it? Every time we saw a little downsell, It just kept going up because people were buying. But why weren't they staking? That's the magical question. And it's because they thought Pulse Chain was going to come out and all that, right? Everybody knows the story by now. So again, understand one-way market. When the sellers get out, they got to come right back in where they left from. There's no other way around it. And this is important. Look at that thumbnail I made today. No matter what, you're coming right back here. It's boomerang. This is a boomerang market. If you get out, you're coming right back. It literally doesn't matter. Bye. See you later. That's how HEX works. Because there's no side markets. There's no perpetual futures contracts on some fake exchange. There's none of that. This is it. You can't buy anything else. You can't sell anything else. And this is important to understand because that is the underlying premise of how this market moves like this. I mean, guys, please. as homie in what's the name of that movie? Damn it, I'm not gonna remember. Couples Retreat. Carlos Ponce, right? As he would say, please regard me. Like, yo, 253x. I mean, this is off, but whatever. It's 256x, 252, whatever, right? How does something like that happen in a matter of months, less than a year, 10 months? Because it's a one-way market. Once you're getting out, you got to buy to come back in. And I know it sounds trivial, but trust me, if you don't get that, you're going to freak out every time you see a down move. Down moves are irrelevant. They're so irrelevant, it's not even funny. Because you got to remember one thing. The dollar only goes one way, right? In case we forgot. Because this is why I'm saying all these things. This is the underlying premise of this being a long-term trade only. This is not a game. This is going to change your life if you play it right. If you don't, you're going to pay the price, and so will your family. And as far as I know, nobody's doing this just for a quick flip. Now, of course, most are. But people I'm talking to, nah, not really. But this is the key. When this fake currency, fiat currency, was introduced, value was one. One got you one. Now, 109 years later, that is not the case. One gets you 3.4 or 3.3. Or, I'm sorry, 3%. 3.3% is what one gets you. Now, when Richard was interviewing with Adam Sosnick the other day, the topic of, or the comment of, or the phrase of cash is trash came up. And, chat got, talky, and Sosnick, he's not a financial guy, so he doesn't get that, right? He just reverts to the normal common man way of thinking, which is, what do you mean cash is trash? Everybody needs cash. Sure. But what you don't understand is that cash that you're using is on a linear line downward. And you experience it. But because you're experiencing it, for whatever reason, people choose to ignore it. Now, prices from the 1900s. Let's go with that. See if we can find some prices. All right, we got some images here. 1900. So this is what prices for things looked like before Federal Reserve money. Okay? 10 pounds of sugar, 55 cents. The last time I was buying sugar, this was years ago. I really can't remember if it was even 10 years or more. I honestly can't remember. It was 5 pounds of sugar, and it was definitely like $5. And this was before 2010. $1 a pound at Costco. So this would cost $10 right now. So it's still the same price from what I'm talking about. 1 for 1 at 5. So there we go. $10 from 55 cents. You sure cash ain't trash? Because I can't fucking tell. Yeah? Right? And see, this is something that as a commoner, or I mean, I say a commoner, excuse me, but as a person that just opts to not look at things a little bit further, right? Because here's the thing. We all know something is wrong with the money, period. We all know it. How else does this happen on our screens, right? How else does this become a thing? Let me turn this thing on. All right. How else does this become a thing? Hold on, guys. Let's see. Is that working? Nope. All right. Is that? I don't know if you guys can see that, but hopefully you can. And yeah, sure, sugar isn't needed for health, but it's just a good barometer of where prices are. You know, that's really all I'm talking about here. That's why I started out with, I can't remember the last time I bought sugar. I don't buy that shit, but whatever. Point I'm getting at is the dollar value of something, right? Let's see, 21 cents for a pound of butter. Is that what that says? It looks like that's what it says. 2 cents for toilet soap. 15 cents a pound for spices, right? Now, what are spices? Seasonings, oregano, cumin, turmeric, saffron, stuff like that. Now, we talking about 15 cents a pound. You can't buy a little bottle of this, of any spice, cinnamon. You can't buy any of that at 15 cents a pound in 2022. You're paying $3 for a little thing of cinnamon sticks, maybe even 5. And that might weigh 3 ounces, man. Like, yo, I think I made my point, right? Because I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here. Point is, cash is trash. The question is, do you understand why it's trash? Do you understand why people say that? There's a reason cryptocurrencies exist. It's exactly because cash is trash. And it's not an opinion, it's a fact, mathematically so. Okay? It's right here in your face. I mean, you go buy a bar of candy anywhere. This here says 27 cents a pound. A pound. A pound. You're paying 10 times that for a bar of candy. And that shit is not a pound. Wake up. Right? These are the things you got to like point out to your friends, your homies, anybody that'll listen to you. Right? This is how you really onboard people into crypto. They need to understand cash is trash. If they don't, they're going to look at this as if it's some stock or some stupid like that. And this is not that. So that's the correct way of onboarding people. First of all, if somebody doesn't understand cash is trash, you cannot onboard them. They are unboardable, period. Because it's not gonna stick. It's not gonna click. None of that. Not gonna work. Look at it. 2 3/4 ounce is what a candy bar is. You can't even hurt nobody with that. Yo, come on. A can of beans easily costs $2 from 12 cents. $2. hit that cost of living pocket. You got to hit them where it hurts. Everybody got to pay for something out here. Everybody. Everybody knows cash is trash. They just don't understand that it is because they're not forcing themselves to conceptualize it because they can't imagine another way to transact. And this is the biggest issue that people have because they only know one currency in most cases, right? The percentage of the community or the population that knows more than one currency is not that great. We are a small percentage, unfortunately. So you have to find ways to introduce people to this stuff in a different manner, right? This is how they're gonna freaking slide crap like this under people's noses. I mean, ensuring responsible development, really? Really? It's a joke. It's a straight up joke. And the messed up thing is that the ones that suffer the butt of that joke, that's us. We suffer, not them. And this is what's excruciatingly frustrating for me personally, because we collectively let this happen. But how? How did this happen? It happened over 100 years, honestly. But how did they do it? Think about those points in time in which things that were dramatic happened. You got World War One, World War Two, Vietnam. Oh, I forgot Korea. Excuse me. Korea, Vietnam, Grenada. All these different incidences. Cuba, right? Bay of Pigs. I forgot that one. You got all these unique instances in time where something was happening militarily that was a focus. There's always something happening to take your focus away from what you need to be paying attention to. Isn't that interesting how that happens? Kind of how like Nancy Pelosi was all up on her way to Taiwan, but yet we're like, what, 4 months away from this being a thing potentially, or them actually starting to do whatever this thing says that they should do, which we're going to get to that right now. Let's see here. All right. So I typically do this. I'll pull up a site, important information, and I'll just read through it real quick. And the reason I read through it is so people can hear my rebuttal to what's being written, because these things that I randomly say literally are what's in my head, because we know what the Constitution states. Let's talk about people's word before we continue. Now, back in my day when I was growing up, I mean, this is literally like fucking 20 years ago, so it's not like it's that long ago. At least in New York, when I was growing up, your word mattered. It had to. If you ever lied, you could never take that back. Never. So your respect literally rested on your ability to not be a fake POS. And I don't mean proof of stake. Before, people were beholden by their words, not by some paper. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that? That's important. That's crucially important to know about your history. Yeah, that's right. This phrase exists for a reason, not because it sounds cool. Yes, not because it sounds cool, because that's exactly what it was. people would do things based on oath of word. Why do we swear? Why do we take an oath to the Bible when we go to court? It clearly doesn't matter. You see presidents swearing in, putting their hand on some book as if that's supposed to stop them from lying. When we all see that it's just a game. And this is part of that game. So Executive Order 14067, March 9th, 2022. Approximately 5 months and 2 weeks ago. Now, this is funny. Because this dude ain't even the president. And if he actually read the Constitution, he would know that. Now, how can I make that statement? Well, let me help you if you're new here. I'm tired of looking this thing up to prove it to people. 20th Amendment. There we go. There we go. All right. Pretty straightforward. Okay. The terms of the president and vice president shall end at noon on the 20th day of January, and the terms of senators and representatives at blah, 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 blah. That first line is pretty freaking clear. Now, if you don't remember, you should probably go back and check when the resident Joe Biden was actually sworn in. You should look that up, because this is the evidence that lets you know he is in fact not the actual president of the United States. In fact, to supplant this even further, there is always a transition of power, period. And that has yet to occur. Now let's see if I can actually find a good source on this. Because I can say what I want, but I want you guys to actually see. Let's see. Because the issue is that everybody's playing the game. You guys got to understand that. Right? Everybody's playing the game. Selected or not. But certain processes cannot be avoided. And transition of power is one of those. That happens down to the lowest levels in the military. Now, why the fuck would it happen there and not at the presidential level? Why? Now, I'm not actually expecting an answer because nobody can give me one. That's valid, period. End of discussion. And this is what you get when you actually were a part of the machine. Facts. See, that's how it works. Now, let's see. In passing the Presidential Transition Act of 1963, Congress explained any disruption occasioned by the transfer of the executive order of the executive power could produce results detrimental to the safety and well-being of the United States and its people. To promote the orderly transfer of power, Congress established a framework for the federal government to prepare for transition from one president to another. Well, damn. Do I even need to continue reading this? Pretty clear, right? Pretty clear. Now, this is primarily talking about civilian level stuff. And that's exactly what president is. Civilian. He happens to be commander in chief. But that's a whole nother technical issue. Point is, if the peons are doing a transition, how is the highest rung not? And these are the things that the average person isn't going to know. Of course, they're not involved. Why would they know that? But that's why it's on people like me, those of us that do know, to inform those that do not. This is what I'm talking about. This is how we progress. This is how we beat the beast. Not by acting like we got something better than the other. There's plenty of stuff that I don't know how to do that I need to learn. I'm not a farmer, so I'm kind of short in that department, see? So the objective is for people to collectively get their mind right because there's a lot of information for us to go through. I've been at this for 2 decades plus. This isn't going to happen in a stream session or two. It takes years. There's so many layers of misinformation. It's crazy. You literally can't fathom. Thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. Just wanted to tap in and say thank you for all you do for the community. Much love and respect as always, my dude. Much love and respect to you and to everybody still watching the stream. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. Because again, I'm sure you guys got better things to do, but this is kind of important. So as we now know, this person is not actually the president. False. Thereby nullifying this executive order. So we have this established from the jump. Yes? I just showed you guys that this shit is null and void. But you got to understand what I just told you in order for you to respect that that's true. Because your future rides on this. Literally. All of our futures. Because you guys got to understand what these CBDCs are about. They can stop you from buying chewing gum. Think about that. Does that sound cool to you? Imagine walking up to a store, thinking you're about to get some milk, some eggs, whatever, basics, whatever you eat, whatever your basics are. And the next thing you know, oh, somebody said, your card was denied. You can't shop here. I mean, what do you think these 87,000 IRS agents are for, folks? 87. If you're not in tune with what's going on this front, let me let you know. Look at that. I don't even got to look it up. It comes up for me. Thank you, DuckDuckGo. People using it, I appreciate you. I mean, look at this. Look at this. They backpedaling like a motherfucker. Fact check. No, the IRS is not hiring an 87,000 strong military force with funds from the Inflation Reduction Act. And this was yesterday at 6 a.m. when your ass is going to be asleep. This is a real. I don't know what this is. Is that a pop-up? Don't know what that was. But this is a real article. This is a real headline. Let's continue. Let's continue perusing through the nonsense. Let's see. Treasury Department rejects GOP claims on new IRS agents. Let's see what this document is. So listen to this. This historical investment. Oh, this is from Yellen. This is funny. This. So you're gonna want to hear this because this is hilarious. This is very funny. This historic investment in our tax system will accomplish two critical objectives. It will raise substantial revenue to address the deficit. Sure, it will. And it will create a fairer system where those at the top who do not today comply with their tax obligations find it far less easy to do so, and where all taxpayers receive the service from the IRS that they deserve, and that your dedicated workforce is eager to deliver. I mean, yo, come on, man. Seriously. Seriously. I wish you guys could see my freaking face right now. Like, oh my God, is this even real life? And yes, it is. And the question is, why? Why is this real? Why can't this lady write this on behalf of the IRS? Who is she writing this to? Commissioner of the IRS. Oh, shit. Well, look, here's the lie right in my face, and I didn't even see it. What did we just read, folks? Fact check. No, the IRS is not hiring an 87,000 strong military force with funds from the Inflation Reduction Act. Directly from Janet Yellen. The Inflation Reduction Act includes much needed funding for the IRS to improve taxpayer service. Oh, shit. Guess they fucked up on that one. Whoops. All right, you know what? Since I might not come back, let's do something special. I'm gonna show y'all that the IRS is not federal either. Fuck it. Why not? Let's go all in. Knee deep. Fuck it. Let's go. Let me find this source. Do it. Yes. 2020 documents. Now, we're the IRS website, yes? I mean, this is evident, right? Like, do I gotta go into the text? HTML, do I gotta go into it? I mean, we can see, right? Yes. IRS.gov, blah, blah, blah. You see, it's a legit IRS website. Okay? Let's see if I can zoom this shit in for you. Let's kill this. Legit IRS website. These links, href, look it up. Look up what that means. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. Okay? So, we're in the IRS website that's been established officially. IRS, privacy policy, accessibility, yada, yada. USA.gov, you see all related sites. Can't get more official. About IRS, careers, yada, yada. Okay? Now, 2020 document 6209 is a reference guide which contains ADP and IDRS data relative to various components of the IRS. It is updated annually. Now, we're going to go to section 11, which is the collection section. Because what is the IRS there to do? Take your money. So the next time somebody say cash ain't trash, think about that one. Funny, right? Everybody's playing with fake monopoly money. Everybody. At all levels. And they know it. So, what's the point? Who cares? Well, we're at a point in time where if we're not careful, they might just slide some up in there that could be painful before any salvation comes. Because if you're not willing to do it, somebody else is going to do it for you. Yes, ADP is one of the top accounting softwares in US businesses, for those that do not know. Correct. Now let's keep going. Because my objective is to show you that this is a not a federal entity. It is owned by somebody else. And you're going to see who. Because what's the point of this if not to show you that? Now, be ready, because you're not really going to be able to wrap your head around that. But yeah, what you're about to see is true. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. But it'll change the moment you decided to change. Not a moment sooner. Let's see here. Am I getting close? No, hold on. I'm gonna have to do. Let's keep going just for austerity's sake. Well, that was crazy. Let's keep going. Okay. Internal master file number. Let's see. Last file return. Okay. Now, this is crazy because this is supposed to be public information. As you guys can see, it's not. So you have this thing here, internal master file. Pretty interesting code area. Kind of crazy. Wait, individual master file, delinquency checks, IMF delinquency, and under reporter programs are produced semi-annually. So, okay. Individual master files. Let's look again. Under report or federal report, their interest, dividend, patronage, dividend, or original issue discount income are subject to backup withholding. Woof, sounds fancy. I tell you, man, those 3 letters are kind of crazy. Very crazy. I mean, there's so many layers. This is just one. Let's see if we can gather something from the appendix that's interesting. They're not going to include the breakout. Oh, so now they do? Okay. So let's see. That's called financial agent number. If I could, yes. So we just read that the Inflation Reduction Act was supposed to help make taxes fairer. This was also supposed to do that, FICA, as stupid as that sounds. Look into it. What else? FATCA. What is FATCA? That means if you live overseas and you're earning income, you literally, they're telling you got to report it. That's what they're telling you. But do you? Do you? That's the actual question. And you see, there's a process for that. And it turns out there's actually a form that exists that absolves you of having to do a lot of nonsense. But the problem is, you got to understand you're a slave first. If you don't understand you're a slave first, you're never going to find that out that you're looking for. Know what I mean? What's the money for? Right? What do you need the money for? Just to buy some cool stuff? I'm sure that's not why. Right? That's literally not why. So you got to think a little bit harder than you actually want to. Because what's happening is that you're literally finding yourself in a position where you're in between a rock and a hard place. Right? Now, it turns out that once you understand that you're being fooled with words, which is what's going on here, right? Once you realize you're being fooled with words, a lot of things change, right? So let's go through this, for example. It's title 26. Surprised it doesn't just randomly come up. Just want to show you guys one thing real quick. Income taxes. Withholding unearned. Let's see if it's this one. Termination of tax liability. Hold on, because I can't remember. Fuck. Drawing a blank. I don't think what I'm looking for is in here. Let's see. Ah. What the fuck? see if it gives us what we're looking for. I think this is just giving us the paper version. We don't care about that. Yeah, no, this isn't giving us what we're looking for. Maybe I can get it down here. No, those aren't other sections. Okay, so all right, let me back out of here. Tax tables for individuals. Yeah, no, this isn't showing me what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find how they define a person, because that's where they get you. You see, it says individuals here, but that's just a generic word for individual entity. Loan entity doesn't actually define what it's trying to define. You're not an individual, you're a human being, right? So when all this stuff was instituted, it was instituted right after the Federal Reserve was put into place. Income tax. Income taxes didn't exist before 1913. Period. And this is critical to understand, because how did the world exist before that point in time if that's the case? How did we make it without my roads? Right? How? It happened somehow. How? Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Federal insurance. See, these are all the taxes that if you own a company, you gotta submit here. Unless you know how to defend your entity. Assuming you could even get out of that. I don't really know. I ain't never looked into it. I don't assume entities can get out of that, because like kind. They're like kind individuals, so they can enter into a valid contract, right? An entity with an entity. A lot of us are under the impression that, hold on, is it 50? No. Hold on, guys. I'm really trying to find how a person is defined here. Maybe it's Title 1, Section 1. Nope. For some reason I'm thinking Section 6 of something. Determining the meaning of any act of Congress. So there, let's see. Yeah, now see, you see, but do you guys see what's happening? Right? Grazie. I can't highlight it. Let me see if I can grab it from the YouTube chat. I actually happen to have it open randomly. Hold on. I gotta wait for that thing to load. It's gonna take a while, guys. Maybe let me refresh. Give me a second here. But I mean, what I wanted to point out before I get to this link, and thank you, Crypto Games, appreciate you, brother. And I wasn't looking at the chat at all. I got two screens and they're vertical. They're not horizontal. So that's why I'll be missing a lot of what y'all saying sometimes, because I'm down here just in it. So what I want you guys to know is that they literally defined a word in a specific context. Now, this is critical. This is critical. This is everything. Because why in the hell would they do that? Now let's just read it for the hell of it. In determining the meaning of any act of Congress or any ruling, regulation, or interpretation of the various administrative bureaus and agencies of the United States, the words person, human being, child, and individual shall include every infant member of the species Homo sapiens who is born alive at any stage of development. However, only here does it apply. Interesting, yes? Now, this is also important, but we'll get to that at some point in the future. Ah, damn, link didn't want to work. Hold on. Hold on. Let me just bust it out from here. Yeah, nah, that's not the one I wanted. That's the one I found earlier. That one doesn't give me the term I'm looking for. The term I'm looking for basically states that you are not a human. You're some entity, not who you are as an individual. And that's what I'm trying to pull up. Yes. Thank you, sir. This is good enough. I don't know if this was the first one you posted or not, but let me scroll up a little bit just in case it is not. Yeah, nah. I think I lost that joint. If you put 3 links in there, I can only see 2. But this one does the trick because this is basically the crux of it. U.S. law treats U.S. persons as and foreign persons differently for tax purposes. Therefore, it is important to be able to distinguish between these 2 types of taxpayers. The term United States person means a citizen or resident of the United States. A domestic partnership, a domestic corporation, any estate other than a foreign estate, any trust if a court within the U.S. is able to exercise primary supervision or over the administration of the trust, and one or more U.S. persons have the authority to control all substantial decisions of the trust. That line, my job is literally predicated on this line. Everything I do at work revolves around that. Any other person that is not a foreign person. Now, these are all important terms to know. They're going to become relevant in the future because this doesn't end here. Because at the end, what I've come to discover with my recent studies is that they can't stop us from speaking reality. They can try to ban you, but if you're well within the law, they can't. This is why some information out there exists and it is valid. Because there's no way that it's true and it's out there. And this is what this is about. So foreign persons are defined as non-resident alien individual, foreign corporations, more entities. Okay? Now, the catch is in understanding what the word citizen means. Etymology plays a role once again. A native or naturalized person who owes allegiance to a government and is entitled to protection from it. That's 1A. 1B, a member of a state. 2, an inhabitant of a city or town. 3, a civilian as distinguished from a specialized servant of the state. But in fact, it actually means this: slave of the city. But look what it did. They tried to say distinguished from a servant of the state. Let's see if they give us some etymology here. I mean, at this point in time, I doubt I could even find anything that'll give me that as a reference. So let's see if I can find something like that. Let's push the system to the limit. Because if we can only go back to, say, this point in time, we might not get the actual original meaning. So let's see. Inhabitant of a city town. Yeah, let's see. Old English words were free manner. Yeah, definitely not that. Private person. Interesting. That's not true either. As opposed to civil officer, soldier. Title from Nope. So I can't even find the actual meaning here, which is interesting because this site is actually pretty good with etymology, and this one time is not. But it actually means slave of the city. That's what citizen actually means. Let's see. Let's see if I can trick Google. Doubt it, but maybe we'll get lucky. Let's see. Now I'm trying to find something that explains it. Not just something that just states it. Because I can state it. I don't need that, right? You guys don't need that. No, this is just a book. Never mind that. Let's see. Damn it. Well, let's see. Let's see what this states. Citizen, on the contrary. Sometimes you can find some good links in here. Well, this is interesting. Let's just read this. No, you would only be a slave if there's someone who owns you. Now, who could free you. Interesting. Because last time I checked, everybody got to pay tribute to somebody. So, yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like I'm not gonna find it here, so I'm gonna have to come back to y'all with a source on that. But long story short, citizen means slave of the city. That's what it actually means. So this is why, if you're a citizen, or however they define resident of the U.S., you gotta pay. So the question then becomes, how is it they can charge you for something and you cannot pay it and get away with it? Because it's doable, but there are steps to that process, and you got to understand before you even do anything why that shit is real. Because otherwise, you're gonna think it's some fugazi thing, and it's not. It's really not. So this is why delivery of information is key. How can I sit here and say or tell you guys something that you've probably never heard before? What does a United States person mean? I thought I was just a United States citizen. But apparently that has several meanings to the IRS because they feel like changing it. Because this is how they work around to justify their actions, you see. But once you realize the actual connection between A and B, you can tell them to see their way out, right? Because that's what it's about. At the end of the day. But here's the cool thing. The cool thing is that you can live in both worlds if you so choose to. And there's benefits, right? And once you relinquish control of said title, you're still entitled to your benefits because they're due to you. Because you still own that entity if you so choose to collect. So, you know, we just seen this. We literally just saw them do this. So it's not like anything is being made up here. So you got to understand the games that are being played, right? So we started with executive order. I showed you guys how this is null and void without even getting to section 1. I didn't even read a single line of section 1, and I showed you guys how this is null and void. So the odds of this actually getting executed are slim to none. But it's important to understand what's coming. And like I said earlier, the objective of these things called CBDCs is to control you. Because just like you think cash ain't trash, when in fact it is, right? Don't fucking forget, cash is trash, my man. This is exactly the whole point of crypto. Otherwise, why does investing exist? If cash wasn't trash, why do we invest? I'm not actually waiting for an answer because nobody actually has one that's valid. Because if the money we use was worth a damn and it was not trash, you wouldn't have crypto, you wouldn't have stocks, you wouldn't have bonds. Wouldn't need it. Your money would be sufficient always, period. But it's not. So, yeah. And like I was saying earlier, we all know it deep down inside that cash is trash. It's just about helping people get to that point. That's the key. That's how you onboard anybody. Period. It doesn't matter if they're a billionaire. They also know cash is trash. Everybody knows because even billionaires get washed out by inflation. The more money you got, the more inflation you see. That's how it works. The prices of luxury goods, they might go down first, but that's because the rich people start going down. They stop spending first. But their prices also go up first. Because everything comes out there first. The commoner, quote unquote, gets everything after them. So that's the commercially viable cost, quote unquote, right? Per the businesses of America or of the world, right? So let's just read through the first section of this crap. Policy. This advances in digital and distributed ledger technology for financial services. Advances in digital and distributed ledger technology for financial services have led to dramatic growth in markets for digital assets with profound implications for the protection of consumers, whatever that means, investors, businesses, including data, privacy, and security, financial stability, and systemic risk, crime, national security, the ability to exercise human rights, which is funny coming from them, financial, inclusion and equity. Oh, those magical words, once again. And energy, I mean, in the legal sense, equity means somebody's getting fucking paid. This is the funny thing. And interestingly enough, anytime anything comes from government, we're not the ones getting paid. We're the ones doing the paying. Yes? Yes. Yes, that's right. And energy demand and oh no, climate change. Yo, if you believe this nonsense climate change is real, just give me all your money. You don't need it anyway. You ain't doing nothing with it. Promise you that. You found Hex by pure luck. And I mean it. I don't care if you're offended. Take it how you like. Straight up. This is just a joke. In November 2021, non-state issued digital assets. Ooh, they hate that. You know they hate that. Non-state issued what? You know them fighting words to them, right? Yeah, I know those are fighting words to them. You, right here, right now, watching this stream, unless you work for the feds, or actually not even the feds, but unless you work for the enemy, because not all these guys are bad. There's a lot of good guys. I was in there. I wasn't a bad guy. I'm here now, right? So clearly not everybody in government is a piece of POS. And I don't mean proof of stake, just in case you're confused. So these people take this stuff personal. Look at what Nancy Pelosi did. She had no qualms flying her little happy ass to Taiwan, even though China was like, yo, we're going to do some shit. And we don't know if China's going to do something or not yet. Don't think that inaction is inaction. Y'all better learn how chess is played if y'all think that no move is no move. No move is a move. Pro tip. So, if you think these people give a rat's ass about you, remember what I told you earlier. They have no qualm sending you, your kids, your grandkids out there to die in useless wars for their benefit. I've already been a participant, and you guys know many hexagons are in that bucket along with me. Respect the facts. These are not opinions. These are motherfucking facts, not opinions. So when you see words like non-state issued, you should be like, oh, they're mad. Because what are they trying to do? But let's continue. In November, which was the top, the crypto market reached a market cap of $3 trillion, up from approximately $14 billion in early 2016, November 2016. Monetary authorities globally are also exploring and in some cases introducing central bank digital currencies. Wrong. Wrong as fuck. You choose to deal in dollars. So does everybody else. That's the problem. The sooner people get educated in that being the problem, the better life becomes. And maybe the sooner we go to these freaking prices again. So maybe sit down, watch something, read something, connect the dots that are being laid out. You're a citizen because you want to be. There's this thing called manufacturing consent. Look into it. Because everybody acquiesces because they don't actually know the rules. If you're not aware, go on Amazon, look up the book, Meet Your Straw Man, and everything else you wanted to know. $5.50. Start there. You're welcome. But the power is actually in your hands. Yeah, nah, you don't understand how it works if you think that matters. Do more research. That action, that quote unquote banning, is so irrelevant, it's not even fun. Learn how to do things on the chain, brother. No action that they take can ever stop you from engaging with the blockchain. Period. Only you can stop yourself from doing that. And yeah, we're not going to be paying stuff in Hex anytime soon. And that's exactly why everybody is screwed if they don't pull their head out their ass. And the feds are going to be in the same bucket. Those people that you think are going to be knocking on your door, they're going to be starving too, fool. Yo, nobody's going to be immune to this. Period. Everybody's expendable to these people. If you don't understand, the greatest president in our recent history, Barack Obama, used to bomb children for a fucking living. That's what he did for his 8 years in the White House. Look into it. These people don't give a rat's ass about you or your family or your apartment. If you think that they can corral 300 million people, you're part of the problem. Facts, not fiction. Why do you think they want to de-weaponize the population in the U.S. so much? Oh, came with the killer. I wonder why. They do it all the time. It's be something good for you guys to figure out. I mean, people think that the police exist to protect them, when in fact, if you haven't noticed yet, they're there only to protect corporate interest. They're not there to protect you. That's why they show up, hours later after something happens. It doesn't matter. Fill out the report. We don't give a crap. Yo, you reckless, man. Well, the police is a business. That's the catch. They don't enforce any law. The law is common law. Police are not required. Common law dictates that if you hurt somebody, your ass is screwed. If you're a person of no integrity, your ass is screwed. In short, if we lived how we were supposed to, none of this, I wouldn't even be streaming. I wouldn't have to. Prices would still be here. Like, yo, wake up. This is happening because you accept it. Period. Whatever your excuse in your mind is, ain't got nothing to do with the facts. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. That's right. So stop lying to yourself, thinking you got no control. Because guess what? You're just going to be collateral damage in this whole thing, because it doesn't end here. This can't be implemented like it is in China. They would love to get to that point here, but they can't. They already failed. And this is exactly why I'm of the mind that this can never happen. You don't have anything to track you that was given to you that was Rona related. You don't. When you go into a store or a food shop, they can't stop you from going in there. They can't. You just go in there, buy your food, and leave. Their objective is to get to a point where, like in China, you walk in, scan your face, you either get to walk in or you don't. That's their objective. Imagine your life being dependent on that. Don't think so. And if you don't know, let's see what we got here. South Korea was, I think, the first country, if not the only country, to actually be in the process of using CBDCs in one of their provinces since 2020, if not 2019. I can't even remember. I'm gonna find a video that I've seen. I was trying to find it on YouTube and I can't find it, but I'm gonna try to find it. And when I do, I'm gonna share it on Twitter for all to see, and you guys are gonna see how CBDCs are working in that province. Long story short, they were giving money to people that had just lost their job, something like that, and they could only use CBDCs to buy whatever that provincial government allowed them to buy. That was all that they could buy. I don't remember what the items were, but imagine you just can't buy what you need with money that you are supposedly earning, because that's where we're going. If you think that it's going to be just the people that are unemployment, you're sorely mistaken. USDC is already on track. BlackRock is the asset manager for USDC. BlackRock is the asset manager for the federal government, for the enemy. Let me rephrase. Excuse me. They manage assets for the IMF. They manage assets for the World Bank. Know your enemy. Look, brother, I understand your contentions, but you got to understand that if you're not educated, literally doesn't matter. You're going to get swept up, period. It's like being on a Titanic in the bottom at the freaking front of the ship, right? Once that bad boy starts going down, it's game over. You're screwed. A lot of people are just going to get hit, man. We're not going to be able to save everybody. As crappy as that is. This is why you, the person watching this stream, needs to really understand these topics, because you're going to have to make a decision here in the future. And it should be the right one, because the dollar as it currently stands is not going to be here for long. This CBDC business is coming faster than you think. And if you're not paying attention, you could get caught up in it. Imagine getting paid in USDC and not being able to use it where you want. Yo, imagine not being able to pay your rent if it goes there. Because it can. This is real life, folks. You know, when I see people say, how do we get here? You know, we get here because we just let it continue. Every time there's been a big occurrence, a war, some major event, some temporary measure gets instituted, like income tax, and it never gets repealed, never gets removed. Everything that pretty much exists today is that. It's all unlawful. All of it. All of it. Hell, I'm going to be honest with you. Even your mortgage is unlawful. But I wouldn't play with that because you live there. So you got to figure that one out. But that's a reality. Every contract you have ever signed in your life is invalid, even the present ones. You're signing a contract with yourself, and you don't even know it because of the tricks being played on you. Because what's happened is that over time, their system became the system. The government was only created and contracted to operate 19 facets of our needs. Not to tell us how to spend our fucking money. Not to tell us what to say, when to say it, where to say it, how to say it, what to wear, what to look like, who to be. I mean, you had people getting sworn in as Supreme Court justices, and they had the fucking gall to state that they did not know what a woman was. They don't know a guy from a girl. I mean, you got all these people talking real estate just because I see somebody talk about it in the chat. You don't even know you don't actually own it. You just got some titles to the land. The actual landowner is not you. And I'm not even going to tell you that, Alpha. You can pay for it if you want. Because I ain't sharing it, no. That one is just too good. Because everybody want to act like they know, but they don't know anything because they don't educate themselves. They just operate within the same old framework that's been given to them. And they think because they're here, they're operating outside of some box. You're not. Let me fucking tell you, you are not. You're not. This is exactly why CBDCs are here. Because you're too busy feeling yourself spending fiat currencies instead of spreading the truth. We will create a virtual environment by using blockchain technology and test whether our CBDC can be used for real-world transactions. The CBDC will be used and circulated in the virtual world, and we are going to test a number of transaction scenarios under a variety of circumstances. While South Korea is planning to enter the trial stage, this was back in 2020, well, they were already in it. Maybe they meant in a different manner. Other countries have started testing the CBDC. Top of the list is China, as we all know. China has, and this was 2 years ago, $162 million worth of CBDC float around. You bet your bottom dollar they got to have at least 10x that by now, if not more. Because people are out there, if you haven't noticed, bank runs everywhere, real estate entities falling and collapsing. There's a major collapse happening right now. I don't know if any U.S. entities are tied to it or not, but if they are, major problem. Major problem. What else is happening in South Korea? Let's see. South Korea CBDC to appear on Samsung Galaxy smartphones. For those of you that like changing your phone up every fucking 5 minutes, something to consider. Yeah, actually, that's crazy, right? That quantity of IRS agents that they're trying to hire is more than every other federal agency out there combined. In case you didn't know that. 87,000, well, that would be the biggest federal agency as we know the federal government to be to date. Correct. Bottom line is they can't move unless we give up and allow it. Dig in your heels and make them make you. Because they can't. If you're not willing to defend yourself, you don't even matter, in my opinion. Peace. Natural selection doing its due. You weren't worthy of conversation or conversing with anyway. Because we're not even on the same page. You have no qualms being a slave. I don't got nothing to say to you. I got no intention to ever befriend you. Period. South Korea catching up with China. Oh, it's a must, baby. Because it's August 2021, a year ago. A year ago. This already happened. South Korea has also begun taxing the crypto market, which led some investors criticizing officials for the tax rate. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Sorry, guys, a little family situation. I mean, it's been 2 hours, 16 minutes. Been pretty long. I think you guys get the point by now. You guys see what's going on. I've given you all the pieces to the puzzle to see that you are being played. Get that book, The Straw Man. Meet your straw man in order to start your path to freedom. Because it's not gonna make sense to you unless you read that book. You don't have to be subservient to anybody else's rule, period. You need to understand that you are being dissed. How can they just tell you that you're going to use some other money when they're not even using real money now? These are the things you guys got to think about, especially when you're onboarding people. This should be a permanent thing. Even though we need cash to live for now, we got to figure it out because it's going to get ugly, period. You're not going to be able to live here very soon on the cash that you currently are using because you're not making any more. And nobody's going to give it to you. However, if you stake in HEX, you're going to get more HEX. And like I told you guys before, let me go to this one. Imagine one day you wake up, your currency just devalues by 1500x. Sound cool to you? I can't even fathom how many X's this is in 20 years. Imagine your currency being devalued 102x over your lifetime. That's more than us. We're still 3% up. These are things that we got to really think about. Because just because it's against the dollar don't mean we're not experiencing it. Clearly, we are. That's what this chart is showing us. We're almost at zero. How much further do you think it goes? This is why HEX is so crucial. For real. You got to learn that these things are critical. We're living in a point in time that's going down in history, just like every other instance that was major. 9/11 was a major point in time. Vietnam, major point in time. Every war has been a major point in time. These are things we got to pay attention to because this is what the end result has been. Because we're not paying attention to our rights being taken from us. Everybody's supposed to be a state national. Their respective state, wherever they were born, they're supposed to be a state national. That's what you're supposed to be. Not a U.S. citizen. Pro tip, whales out. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know.
how we do it.
Appreciate that.
Like this.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Trust
that.
us. 100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Yash deep, everybody. My God. Hex agents, bro. Everybody.